What's up, guys? Jason Guyman here, and tonight we're going to talk a little bit about whatever your questions are. I know it is Super Bowl Sunday, and I know that we may or may not have too many people on. I don't know who watches the Super Bowl, who doesn't. But that is what we are going to hit on tonight. And my questions are, what is your question? What do you want to ask questions about growing your business in 2026? Are you more worried about growing your business in 2026, or are you more worried about who's going to win a Super Bowl that you can't change or do nothing about it? And so that is what we are going to talk to tonight. I see that Big Time is in the house. He has got a bunch of questions, so if nothing else, we'll answer his questions. And so if you've got marketing questions, if you've got Christmas light questions, pressure washing questions, I want to hear your questions. And so I'm excited for this year. I think it's going to be an amazing year in 2026. I've seen some people already closing jobs and Christmas light jobs and pressure washing jobs, and people are already getting to doing more than they had in the past. Last year, I know I talked to someone in Florida, and they've already done, two people in Florida did way more than they did last year. And so it is going to be a great year for you and your business if you take action, right? So we have to take action. We have to make sure that we are working for where we need to be at. And so that is what Wild West. How are you doing, sir? I haven't heard from Mercine for you in a while. It's pretty cool to see you. And so that's where I haven't seen or heard. I hope you are doing great in Texas. It should be warm there. It is still cold here. Today only got up into like 28, 29 degrees. It's supposed to be cold tonight, but then this week it's supposed to get up into the 40s and even almost up to 50. So it should start melting some of this snow out. And so that's kind of what we will be doing. So that's where we're at for this. So, how is Big Time in the house? If the Steelers are not in it, I don't care. Finish my taxes before filing a crappy year. Well, let's do better this year. I need to work on my lead flow. So the question is then, what are you going to do, George, in 2026 to get more phone calls? How are we going to get more phone calls in 2026? And, have we worked on our reviews? Have we been doing our Google business profile? Are we doing yard signs? If we are doing yard signs, how many signs are we doing per week? Are we doing networking group? Are we posting on Facebook? What are we doing to be able to get the phone to ring? Because that is the key of growing this business in 2026 is how do we get the phone to ring, and then we need to answer the phone. So those are definitely some things that we look at. Was able to get an upgrade in the last year, a 7x14 aluminum tandem axle trailer. My 5-year-old steel 5x1 was rusted out. Only now it's too cold to have work on it, right? Um, Cheap ways for lead flow, please. So here's my thoughts on cheap lead flow for is there really is no cheap ways of getting leads, right? Because you either have to open your wallet and pay money, or you're going to have to start doing the things of Facebook and posting in groups and showing up, doing lives, doing videos, building relationships with your customers. And typically that's going to be through Facebook. that's going to be your best option. You can do some stuff with YouTube and post it on YouTube, which will then, if you have a website, it can help your website start ranking a little bit more too. But really, you're going to have to network. You're going to have to do door hangers. You might have to do, that's basically what you're going to have to do for the free side. If you had 10,000 for marketing, where would you spend it at? Is that $10,000 a month or $10,000 for the whole year? Because when you think about it, what do you want to do? What's your goal for 2026? That would be my first thing for you, right? What's your goal for 2026? If you have to think about you are only going to spend 10,000, do you only want to make 100,000? Because that's 10% of that. But on the same hand, you gave me a question of if I only had $10,000, what would I do? Well, the first thing I would do, because I know it works, 10,000 for the March and April. So you're actually looking at more like $5,000 a month for the March and April. I know yard signs work. So out of that 10,000, I would probably spend, so for 2 months, let's just say 3 months, March, April, May, because you're probably March, April, May, June, I'm assuming. March, April, May, June is 4 months. I would buy 800 yard signs. I would try to put out 200 yard signs a month. Now, if it is something that you need to do to pay to put them out, that's going to come out of that 10,000. Whatever I had left, I would be putting it probably in Google Ads is where I would put the rest of it at. So that's $5,000. So let's just say that $5,000 into 2 months. So that's 2,500. So, you're looking at 30 days. You're looking at 20 days, because typically I don't run Google Ads on Sunday. Sometimes I'll run them on Saturday. Sometimes I won't. So if you ran them 20 days, I'm just going off easy numbers, and you spend $100 a day, that's your $2,000 right there. So you did that for 2 months. That would be $4,000 in your business there. And that would probably get you a lot of work. Now, if you have to pay somebody to run your Google Ads, then typically you're not going to be able to spend that much. You're probably only going to be able to spend half that, because you're probably going to spend the rest in someone running your Google Ads. Now, with Google Ads, you do need to be on top of it. You need to make sure that you're checking them. You're making sure that you're doing the things that you're doing. But that is what I would do. I would hammer the yard signs, and I don't care how busy you get, you're getting out 200 yard signs a week. That's where I would be at. Or a month, I'm sorry, 200 yard signs a week. That's a lot. 200 yard signs a month. So you're looking at 50 yard signs a week is where you would be at. And that is where I would be at for this. So if it was me, and I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, where you are at, or I don't know if you're back in Lexington or Louisville. I think you're in Louisville. That's where I would be at, because those are known things that I know that works. I would definitely be paying as much as I could in Google local service ads. GLA, I would definitely be hammering that too, because here's the thing. Yes, you're willing to spend 10 grand, but if this marketing is working and your phone's ringing and your average ticket's $1,000, I'm willing to keep going. right? I'm not just going to cut it off. But if it's not, then typically that. But like I said, I would test and I would see what's working and what's bringing in the most phone calls. And I would keep hammering that hard, hard, hard. So in Louisville, I was thinking 100 a week. Is that overkill? I have 1,000 signs stocked and ready to go. Um, it is a lot. Do you have the manpower and the broadwidth of 8 to 10 hours of getting out 100-yard signs? Because that's how long it typically probably going to take you to get out 100-yard signs a week. And so, I mean, it's worth a shot and see what happens. And, you know, the other thing with you in Louisville, depending on what areas you're hitting at, is going to depend on how many you need to put out. Are you putting them out around all of Louisville? Are you putting them out in certain areas? Because if you're putting them out in certain areas, 100-yard signs a week might be a lot. That's when you start getting calls from the city. That's when you start getting calls from things like that. When you start putting them out every intersection. When you start putting 4 at every intersection, they typically don't like that too well. So that's where you kind of got to be a little bit careful on not putting them so heavy in one area. But yes, that's what I would do. Now, if your 10,000 already doesn't include these yard signs, then I would do Google local service ads and I would probably do Google ads, would be the two things I would push the hardest for March and April, is what I would push. I know you sent me some EDDM stuff, but EDDM, it will work, but your EDDM, the thing with EDDM, you're probably not going to get your return on the first one. You're not going to get, it's the third and fourth send that you start really getting your returns on that show up on EDDM. So that's why I typically don't push EDDM. It can work, but that's not my first out of the gate. My first out of the gate is not EDDM. It would be Google ads. It would be Facebook. You can do Facebook ads. For Christmas lights or for pressure washing, I'm not a big fan of them. You can't show me too many people that's made $100,000-$200,000 off of Facebook ads. Is there people that out there probably have? Yes. But is there people out there that can replicate over and over and over? I don't see it that often. Just my opinion. So you can take it or leave it for that. All right, that was good. I like that question. Just stopping by. I'm great. Hope you are the same. Working on my GMB. Google ads, yard signs, networking through Alignable, posting on Facebook and X, LSA. You had asked, is got to work on LinkedIn? Yeah, LinkedIn definitely does good too. And Dylan, that's another thing I would tell you to start working on this year is I would really start working on your commercial side of things. I don't know if you're posting in LinkedIn and if you joined an apartment association, those would be the things that your commercial will definitely help you get your average ticket up and you get a lot of your big jobs. So if I was you, I would definitely be working on that also. My goal is 100K and go full time and quit my day job. What's up, Chris? How are you doing? New Jersey, happy Sunday. The game is a snooze fest. Charlie, good evening, buddy. You do coaching one-on-one, like on a Zoom call. I can't travel too much. Responsibility, my first go-to training. I do. I have a couple different things. So if you're just wanting like a group coach, more of where I do my membership, you can do that. King of Pressure Wash. I think it's slash membership. I don't. It's just, if you go there and it'll tell you where to join. I also do more of a one-on-one coaching, and it's still a little bit of a group coach, but it is. I'll do Zoom calls with you, and I will do it. And it's Christmas or kingofpressurewash.com/mentorship is that one. There's about 8 of us in there, 8 or 10, and I do in person or I do online, and we do a Zoom call every Thursday morning, and then we have Marco Polo. And so there's several people in this membership that mentorship that are doing anywhere from about 200K to over a million, 1.2, 1.3 million a year. So it's a great group of guys that kind of hold each other accountable, and it's a pretty awesome group. Also, make sure your GMB doesn't post fake jobs on Marketplace to chew up the pay per clicks. Call leads. Good to know. Yard signs are in the mail, ready to go. Mr. Carey, what's your goals? What's up, peeps? You like door hangers? I have both yard signs and door hangers. I personally like yard signs. Door hangers can work, but it takes time. I like door hangers for my 5-arounds. I like door hangers for your 10-arounds or your subdivision when you're not busy and you're at a job. Say you get a job at Miss Jones' house, I'll do the 10, 20 around, but definitely for your 5-arounds. So yes, I spent $8K last year on marketing. Total income put $34,000. What did you spend your 8K on would be my question. What was your spend on? I have 300 yard signs to start out this year. What's your preferred month on how many to put out each? So typically it's February. It's snowing outside. Nobody's thinking about getting their house washed. Sorry to tell you that. Unless you live in Florida. I always say that, and I don't know when's the best time to start putting them out, but this is what I'll tell people. When people start mowing their grass, that's the time to start putting them out. And if you can do that about a week before they start mowing their grass, that's the perfect timing to put them out. If they're not outside looking at their house, they don't know that their house is dirty. So that's why I always tell people we want to start putting this stuff out after the first grass mowing. Because again, if you're not outside looking at your house, you don't know that your house is dirty. So when they're out there mowing their grass and they're looking at their dirty house, then that's a good time to start posting out those yard signs. I would say, so it depends. Last year, most people didn't get started till April, end of March, 1st of April. It was almost April, like the 3rd or 4th, before I even started mowing my grass. It snowed in New York, in Michigan, in April. So that's typically why we push for that first grass cuttings. By session or by the year? So I do it by the month, or I can do a one-on-one Zoom call if you want to jump on one. Does your mentorship include lights or just pressure washing? Would love to join soon. So it's both. It's both. So if you join the King of Pressure Wash mentorship, I give you access to both. You get access to both. So you do get both. Because most of my guys in mentorship, and they're not all pressure washers either. Like most of them are all Christmas lights, but not everybody's all pressure or Christmas lights. So like I've got a lawn guy in there. Last year I had a guy that bush hogged, And his average ticket went from $1,500 a day to $3,000 a day. I doubled his business. So that was really cool. My goal is to make enough to make the most being a sole proprietor owner and pass it down to my 5 kiddos. Google Ads, yard signs, and LSA. How many yard signs did you spend out of that 8K would be my next question. Because I want to know how much you spent on Google Ads. I'm in Connecticut. When should I start the yard signs? March or April? Again, if this year keeps going the way it is, it's going to be closer to April. If this weather changes and gets warmer, then it's going to be March. Footbridge does your website. I live in Arkansas. So if you live in Arkansas, you're still dealing with this weather because you all got snow down there too. So good old snow. This game sucks. How would you capture SEO on permanent? Most of my research is showing people are just calling them general Govee lights, unfortunately. So here's my thought on this is I've kind of pushed it as permanent Christmas lights because a lot of people, that's what they call them. Now, the issue you have is that's great for Christmas season. It's not so great for the rest of the year. You will be able to find people to find it, and typically it's the permanent Christmas lights is what I have seen. It is definitely something that you can try to push for, like architectural lighting, like security lighting. You can push things for that, like if you're doing a blog, if you're doing your web pages. I've actually got a page that has the web pages in there. And so that's kind of where I would be at. And I know that can be hard. I think your best option for marketing, if you're going to do marketing, I wouldn't do Google Ads for permanent lighting right now. If I was going to do anything, I would be doing Facebook ads because you can show what you're doing. Facebook ads are kind of your best option, or Facebook, to be able to keep people engaged by doing it that way. I would also say that with permanent lights, I know people that spend about $5,000 a month on Facebook ads, but they do pretty well with their permanent light business. And so but most people that I know that are getting business through permanent lights year round, and this goes for landscape lighting, this goes for any of it, it's going to be your Facebook ads. That's going to be your best option because you can kind of show what it looks like, if that makes sense. My top 3 money makers. Where'd that question go at? Is yard signs, Google, and Facebook. So, if those are your top 3 money makers, what are you going to spend more money on? Are you going to put more yard signs out? Or are you going to put more on Google? Or are you going to put more on Facebook? Right? That's the question. And this is why I like yard signs. This is why I think yard signs work great. Because they just work. That's all I got to say. I can show you lots and lots of people that have hit 6 figures off of yard signs only. Like I can show you probably I know probably over 100 people that's made over 100 grand off of yard signs alone. I can't tell you about that in Facebook ads. I could with Google ads. Google ads does pretty well for a lot of people. 400 yard signs. So you put out 400 yard signs over the whole year. You barely put out 25 yard signs a month. This is where I would hammer hard on those, right? I would hammer hard. I would get to 100 yard signs a month at least, if not 200. I would try to do 50 a week because, George, we know these work. And my question is, out of that $400 or 400, so that meant you spent $1,200 on yard signs. Out of that 7 grand, 8 grand that you spent, how much came from yard signs versus how much came from the ads that you spent? That would be my question. And I don't like to down diss people, but how well is your website ranking? How well is it bringing up on your Google Maps? I can show you 2 people that I know that use that same service and they didn't show up at all. In fact, I can show you one right now that I've taken over his SEO, and he went from not ranking at all to being like average of 15, 16. And this past week, we got him down to 2 and 3s all over the place on it. It's like an average of a 3. So that's my thing on those. I'm going to practice on my lights with Christmas lights. $500 to $600 a month. I am learning heavy into higher ticket areas. I'm learning. That R just popped up there and I didn't even see it. Heavy into higher ticket areas under the guise of architectural lighting in Florida. The product I'm carrying is a lot more robust. So definitely architectural lighting can help. It can definitely help you out a lot. My goal is to try and reach $5,000 a month in pressure washing. Absolutely, you can do that. Absolutely. Absolutely 100%. Answer your phone, get your 5-star reviews, Google business, have your website, and go out there and get it. Don't be afraid to charge. Try to get your average ticket up. If whatever your average ticket is, I'm sure it's probably, if I'm guessing, it's probably not a lot. Let's get our average ticket up to $500, $800, $1,000. And yes, I know people that have $2,000 pressure washing average tickets. How do we get, DJ right now has $1,000, it's like $900 to $1,000 average ticket for pressure washing. How do you get there? He charges, right? His minimum house wash right now is $450. I know you can tell me, Jason, you just don't understand. You can't get that in my area. I do understand. We're in Cincinnati. You know, I was thinking about this because this is Christmas lights and pressure washing. I hear people all the time tell me, Jason, you can't get this in Texas. Jason, you can't get this in Missouri. Now, Missouri is a little bit different because it's a lot like Kentucky and Cincinnati. But Texas, this is the thing that kills me. So in Christmas lights, I've got people that will tell me all day long, you can't get $8 a foot in Houston, Texas, Jason. I'm at $650. That's all you can get. There's guys down here that are doing it for $2 a foot. But one of the guys that told me you can't get $8 a foot slipped one time. He's like, I got it the other day because I didn't charge it right and I got $8 a foot. I'm like, ha ha, look at that. I want you to think about something. I was looking at Texas. Dallas, Texas has 7.7 million people. 7.7 million people in Dallas, Texas. Houston, Texas has over 7 million people. Do you know how much the whole freaking state of Kentucky has? We have a whopping 4 million people in the whole state of Kentucky. But you're going to sit there and tell me that you can't get higher dollar because the cost of living is higher there and everything is higher there, but yet Christmas lights and pressure washing, you can't get that? You know what that's called? That's called this thing right here, this 6 inches between your ears. Because you don't believe you can get it. Your mindset tells you you can't get it. And guess what? Just like old Ford used to say, if you think it is, or if you think you can, or you think you can't, you're right. You're 100% right. You know, I got a guy in New York City, on Long Island. This guy had a 4-gallon-a-minute pressure washer, no hose reels, was putting his hoses in garbage cans for like 2 years, using a pump-up sprayer to do the roofs, making $150,000 to $200,000 a year. I know another guy in his same exact area can't get to 6 figures because of his mindset and his beliefs. 2 people in the exact same spot, one doing 150, 200,000, the other one can't get to 6 figures. Now think about this. Is there anything different between the two? Are they in a different area? They're in the same exact area. You know, my friend Daniel, he does over $1 million in Christmas lights. There's people in his area been doing it for years and can't get to $1 million. I have a really good friend in his same area, can't get to $1 million doing Christmas lights. Why? Well, one, what you water grows. What you focus on grows. So if you focus on 10 things, nothing's growing. If you focus one thing hard, it's growing. Do they have the same customers? Yeah. Did he take some of their customers? Yeah. Why? Because the difference in mindset, right? That's my whole point I want to hit in, and I want to drive it home. Do you believe that you are the best in your area? Then why aren't you charging the best? And if you don't believe you're the best in your area, well, that's your first problem. Because you don't believe yourself that you're worth $300, $500 an hour pressure washing. And yes, I have raised my minimum of $500 an hour for pressure washing, $300 to $500. I used to say if you can shoot for $300, I want you to shoot for $300 to $500 an hour for pressure washing, because you can get it, because you're giving value, because you're saving them time, because you're adding value to their life that they don't fall off the roof, fall off the ladder, because they don't know how to clean. And so these are the things that you have to start thinking different and believing differently than what you believed. I want you to be the best in your area, and you need to believe that you're the best in your area. Because if you don't believe that you're the best in your area, neither do your customers. Neither do your customers. So I went down a whole long rant on getting to 5K a month. So go out there and get it. Do you really want 5K a month, or do you want 10K a month? Have you wrote your goals down? Do you know what your goals are? If you don't know what your goals are, how are you shooting for them? If you know what 10K a month looks like, how are you getting there? Is your average ticket $500 or $1,000? If you get your average ticket to $1,000, you only need 10 jobs. That's less than one job a day. That's one job every other day. How do we get there? How do we get the phone to ring? How do we answer the phone? How do we sell with emotions? Because emotion sells. We love to sell pressure washing. We love to sell Christmas lights. And these guys in Houston, they're selling Christmas lights. These guys that are pressure washing that are cheap are selling pressure washing. They're not selling with emotions. They're not selling on emotions. They're not selling on what pains that customer. They're selling on bleach and water. And nobody wants to pay $500 an hour for bleach and water. They want to buy so that they get their wife to quit nagging at them. So what emotion is that? You want some at nighttime? Get this done for your wife and she's going to be happy. For marketing, who would you join first? Chamber of Commerce or Apartment Association? Depends on what you're looking at doing. Chamber of Commerce is going to give you a link that's a good link. It's going to meet people. Apartment Association is going to get bigger jobs. What do you want to do? My signs are bright lime green black letters at 24 and 36 inches. So my question is, I'm not a big fan of green because they're hard to see with grass. That's my only issue with those. Learn how to love your yard signs. Learn how to love your yard sign. I love my yard signs. I love yard signs. I am going to be relentless in package deals, no matter what. So what's those package deals going to look like? Are you doing in-person quoting? Are you doing online? If you're doing online, house wash, exterior window clean, driveway cleaning. Roof wash, house wash, exterior window cleaning. Whatever it takes, whatever it is. If you're going in person, you're quoting everything. The house, the roof, the everything. And when you get that big $3,000 quote, don't crap your pants. Be confident. Be like you own it. You know what you're doing. Don't be like, Miss Jones, this is really expensive. You just lost it, right? I like what Alex Hormozy says too. On your bottom package, don't be like, this is the bottom package. Put, this is the minimum package. Name it the minimum package, right? Because we're telling them that this is what they have to buy. Everything else is a bonus. It's not 3 options. We have, yes, you have to do this one, and option 1 and option 2. But if we just put best, good, better, and best, then we just got 3 options, and in their brains, the words that we're using aren't telling them that you have to do the minimum, right? So this is the minimum package. This one here is going to get your house washed. But these here are going to be way better. Is it better to keep the yard sign design straight to the point, simple, or full color and detailed? Simple. Too many words doesn't do you any good. Yard signs are about 40%. Google Ads about 50%. I believe I made about 15,000 or so on my yard signs. I don't have the stats on me right now. So you spent less money on yard signs, but made more money in the end. So think about that. So if you made 40% of your yard signs, what if you put out 800 yard signs? What if you put out 100 yard signs a month right now? What if you put out 200 yard signs a month, 50 yard signs a week? How much is that going to go up for you? 40% came out of 8,000. You only bought 400 yard signs, so $3 a sign. That's $1,200. I think your ROI is way better there than anywhere else. Going to stay focused on my own growth this year and pedal to the metal. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. First shutout in history, Super Bowl. Oh, scratch that. Somebody just scored. So I know I pushed yard signs a lot tonight, but they work. Like I said, George Yost, he had posted that he put 8 grand in marketing, but 40% of his business came off of yard signs and 50% came off of Google Ads. Think about that. I love Google Ads too. They're easy. But I want to get you to $100,000. I don't want you to be at $40,000. I want you to be at $100,000. And here's the thing. I know you're not going to do Facebook, right? You're probably not going to post pictures of yourself out there. So what I would do, George, is I'd go all in on yard signs. Now, you, on the other hand, you need to work on what is going to be your best way of goals. What is your goal this year? Where do you want to be at? How much do you want to make this year? And Dylan and some of these other guys, where you want to be at? Dylan, you're young. You definitely should be on, well, yeah, you should definitely be on Facebook. I know you probably don't use it a lot because you're young, but Facebook, there's a lot of money to be getting off of it. LinkedIn, the apartment associations, all that stuff, networking. I feel like this year, 2025, 2026, networking is king. You can make a lot of money off of networking. I know a lot of people making a lot of money off of apartment associations, off of some of the chambers, off of going to the different meetings, and some are doing okay with BNI. These are all things that I would hammer hard. In your opinion, what is the difference in someone who has a $600 to $700 average ticket and an 8? What's the difference in someone who they're offering packages and they've raised their prices? They're not at 20 cents a square foot, right? We're at 26, 28, 30 cents a square foot, 35 cents a square foot for house washing. We're at 30 cents to 40 cents on concrete cleaning, and we're at 40 to 50 cents on roof cleaning. On exterior window cleaning, we're at 11 cents a square foot if you're going to do it that way, 11, 12 cents with a minimum of $200. We are charging a lot for those different services. That's the difference. If you get your lead flow, we can raise our prices. That's the biggest difference at the end of the day. And here's the thing that I will tell you. When you start getting large jobs, you get more of those types of jobs. Because here's what happened. When you're out there taking a picture of that 1,200 square foot house and you're posting that 1,200 square foot house, guess what you get? More 1,200 square foot houses. But if you're posting that picture of that 3,000, 4,000 square foot house, guess what you get? More pictures of that 4,000 square foot houses. And here's the thing I will say in 2026 that I know for a fact. Personal branding is huge. What are you doing for personal branding? What are you doing to take action to do personal branding? Yes, you need to have your business brand, but your personal brand is just as big, if not bigger. So do you have pictures of you and your guys on your website? Do you have pictures of you and your guys on your social media? Do you have pictures of you and your guys on LinkedIn? Do you have pictures of you and your guys on Google Business Profile? Because when you have pictures of you and your guys, and we're all got nice uniforms on, we got nice clean pants, we're not all bleached out, we're not looking cool with bleach stains all over this sweatshirt, and we have nice shirts on, whether you get the whole full thing or you have polos on with a name on it, You have nice khaki pants or shorts. They look good. Your vehicles look good. Everything looks good when you take those pictures, because that right there builds know, like, and trust. Because we know that our number one customer is a female. That's a prop. It's like 70-80% is females are the one calling you. And here's the thing about a female. Their number one concern isn't about getting the house washed. Their number one concern is safety. Is the person going to come beat me up and rob me? That's what they're worried about. And when you look like you're all bummed out, guess what? That's not very secure and safety in their brain. So that is definitely what I'm hitting on. I used a lot of AI. 100,000 sounds good in my 6 years of doing this. I've never made more than 5,000 in a single year. Most of those were $1,000 jobs in the third largest metro complex in the U.S. You never made more than 5,000 in a single year? That don't sound right. In a single year, most of my homes were $1,000 jobs in the third largest metro. I ordered some extra yard signs of just my logo and number. No. Pressure, and then number on it alongside my pressure washing signs. Think that type of way puts eyes on my brand. People don't care about your brand. Pressure washing and a big phone number. You know, I know. Oh, I got you. I got you now. It clicked. I was like, $5,000, huh? You're doing $1,000 every ticket, but $5,000? That don't make no sense. So, if you want to learn, I know I'm going to switch gears here. We are having I've got 2 in-person classes coming up. The first one is going to be landscape lighting, how to start and grow a landscape lighting business. It's with myself, and Michael Zuzak is going to be doing it here in Cincinnati. It's in February. If you want to check it out, you can go to my Christmas light page, go to in-person training and see it there. And then in March, I'm having a training here in Cincinnati. And it is going to be a great training. You can go to KPW Train or Christmas Lights. Either one will get you there. And I'm going to have I may actually change this up. It might be, right now it is for the beginner too, but it's probably going to be geared a little bit more toward the advanced side of things. Because I know that I have some people that are coming here for the training, but also that are going to be here a couple days after the regular training. So with that said, we're going to have some pretty cool people here that are making multiple 6 figures for this business. And so if you want to go check that training out, that's going to be a pressure washing and Christmas light training. It might be a little bit different because the people that I'm going to be there, if I've got some new people here, that'll be fine. They'll learn, but I'm probably going to go more toward the advanced side of things and go deeper in the AI side of things, go deeper in marketing, go deeper in that stuff. And the other thing I'll go deeper into on the Christmas lights and pressure washing days is going to be deeper into systems. Because as we want to start scaling and getting off the truck, we have to get systems in place. If you are trying to not have systems in your business, it is going to be really hard for you. So with that, if you want to do the Christmas lights and pressure washing in March, or I have landscape lighting and permanent lighting coming up in February, that's going to be a great class too. We have a lot of people showing up for that. Is Zuzak doing the training? I'm in his area. Yes, Zuzak is going to do the training. So that is what he will be doing is the landscape lighting. I'm probably going to help him some on it, but it's mostly going to be him on that day. The marketing is going to be me because marketing is marketing, and marketing is the most important part of the whole thing because at the end of the day, anybody can screw some bulbs in and dig some ditches and put some wire in it. Takes a little bit more to be able to how do you get the phone to ring. Like I said, anybody can learn how to do the hands-on portion. It's not real rocket science of here's how to pressure wash, here's how to hang Christmas lights. The rocket science is how do you get the phone to ring? How do you answer that phone? How do you make yourself available that way? How would you go about putting people in contact on contract in the fall, like gutter cleaning? Start asking for it, right? Start, hey, we can do this one time or we can do it 3 times. If you're there to do a gutter cleaning, we have a plan that we make sure your gutters never get clogged. We come here 3 times. We'll do them before. We'll do them this time. We'll do them that time. Your drain is always one more. I now own a laser engraving business. Gotcha. Awesome. But that's what I have coming up. Again, like I say, KPW Train will get you to the pressure washing one. Christmas Light one, ChristmasLight.io will get you to both of them. It's going to be a lot of fun, great times. I think it's ChristmasLight.io/IPT in-person training will get you there. Instead of the annoying football, Super Bowl, it's refreshing to see you, Jason. Well, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm excited for this year. I really am excited for 2026. I think that 2026, here's my prediction for 2026. It's going to be amazing. If you take action, if you do the things you need to do, if you are consistently and relentlessly going out there and putting out the things that you know you need to do, it will change your life. I promise you. It's one of those things that I feel like a lot of times people get into this business, and here's what I've got. I heard it the other day, and it wasn't even with pressure washing. It was something else. It was a different business. It was dumpster rental. And the guy was like, I bought a dumpster, but now everybody says it's oversaturated. How do I get customers? And this is what I'll tell you. That's the hardest part of this business is marketing and sales. And here's the thing about it. Anybody can go out there and pressure wash. I used to hire several 18, 19, 20-year-olds that go out there and pressure wash. I've hired several people to go out and do Christmas lights. I've got a guy right now that's hanging Christmas lights, and he's 16 years old. He turned 17 years old. He's 17 years old this year. And he did $125,000 hanging Christmas lights at 17 years old. So don't tell me you can't do it. You know what he was? He was consistent, he was relentless, and he went after it. And that's what you have to do to make this happen. No sales, no business is 100% true, right? If you don't go out there and sell, you're not going to get no business. I still have to leave you a review for the last training we did in Charlotte. It's a long overdue doing it now. Well, I appreciate that. I thank you very much for that. So with that, go have an amazing week this week. Go take action. Remember this. Don't worry about what you did yesterday. It's done, gone. Don't worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. It's in the future. And there's not one thing you can change about that right now. The only thing you can do is what you can do today. What you do today is the only thing that's going to change what's going to happen. And that's why it's important that you're consistent, that you keep doing the things that you need to do, and your business will grow. And it's amazing what you can achieve at the end of the day. Everyone, you should, I'm going to read this last question. Everyone, you should know where you can produce more, even if you have to drive more, right? You got to find those honey holes. My honey hole was 45 minutes away from my house, and I went there every day pretty much because that was where my honey hole was. But with that, y'all have an amazing night, and we'll see you all later.